line item where we're going to spend $5 billion on this highway and $1 billion on this bridge, and so on. How does it happen that the administration could just steal billions of dollars out of various pots of money and throw it at high-speed rail in California without explicit permission from Congress?
Well, two things. First of all, we're dealing with a highway bill right now that is about ready to run out. And so we should be passing another highway bill this week, and now we're the first Congress that is doing it without earmarks. So there will be no more bridges to nowhere. This will block grant money to every state. So before the gas tax dollars come back to California, we're just very simply saying, use it for roads, use it for bridges, but don't use it for high-speed rail. Don't transfer our gas tax dollars to high-speed rail. But on the stimulus side of things, the president, before I got here, they passed a stimulus package. That stimulus money was divided up to all of the president's pet projects. And, there are things that he put money in a fund. That money is still sitting there, and he can transfer it out and transfer it back. He should transfer debt to pay off our debt, but we don't expect this president to do that.
Are they aware in Washington just how screwed up, how much lies and distortions are in this California high-speed rail plan from what they sold the voters in 2008 to what the reality is now?
I think they are, because we've actually had hearings on the bill on high-speed rail, and Secretary LaHood, who is the president's appointee, I asked him, how much is this going to cost? Can you guarantee me that it will not go above the $98 billion that they were saying it was going to cost at the time? He said, no, that's today's numbers. It's probably going to go up, but I can't guarantee you what that plan is. We're going to come up with the money. It's a priority of ours.
That's that's today's numbers? What do you mean that's today's numbers? And so tomorrow's numbers is $150 billion, and the day after that it's $200 billion?
Yeah, it's irresponsible.
Which means on any given day, they're intentionally lying, and then they're going to say, well, that was yesterday's numbers. What do you want from me?
Absolutely. There's no accountability.
Now,
I mean, they couldn't justify the project when it originally came out. Now there's no accountability, and there's certainly no private investor. Who's going to invest in this thing?
Are you aware of another public project like this with so much going against it?
No, and I've never seen the president come back to a state and say, you will spend that money. And that's what he's basically had his secretary come out to California, and the money that was in the bond, they want the $33 billion or the $9.9 billion of the 33 that the state voters voted on. They want that spent right away, immediately, which is why this initiative is so important. If we allow Jerry Brown to float those bonds, if they start spending that money, we'll never get that genie back in the bottle.
Well, what's the point then? Because then you'll have some unfinished track built in the farmlands of the Central Valley that's unusable. What's the point of being so insistent and obsessive? I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but I can see how they want it at any cost, and that's why we've got to do everything we can to stop it.
And how much money do you think they would throw at this high-speed rail after this $3 billion? How much more in Washington do you think is available?
We believe, and we have not been able to get an audit on all of the stimulus money, but we believe that there is in excess of $3 billion more. Whether or not he would be able to transfer all of that, we're not sure. But we believe that this president, I mean, based on his own statements, based on Secretary LaHood's statements, he wants this at any cost, and I think Jerry Brown wants it at any cost too. So no matter if the price tag is 60 or 100 or 200, they're going to spend whatever it takes, tax whoever they need to tax to get it done.
And they don't think there's any risk? I mean, 60% of the public is against this project.
I don't know. They must think that there's a risk, and that's why they're trying to get it done so quickly.
Now, do people in your district want this? Isn't your district at least covers part of this area where they're supposed to start the construction?
Yeah, I would say one of the things that they did initially was they came to the Central Valley, they talked to farmers, they talked to the local communities. We had a lot of different roundtables, and they sold the valley a bill of goods. And now the farmers are against it. The local governments have all voted against it, and it's turned, the whole thing has been turned upside down.
But why would you start the original construction in the Central Valley? Why wouldn't the first construction be out of Los Angeles or San Francisco, right out of the major train stations?
I think that they believe that if they'd have started it in one of the big cities, then it would be like every other rail project that we have in the state, that it wouldn't be used properly and it would never get finished. And so it would be another commuter rail and never get a high-speed rail done that joins north to south.
Well, but building it in the middle of the state where nobody lives? I don't get any of this.
Relatively nobody. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the purposes of. Well, besides you and a couple of farmers, you're not going to supply enough customers for this stupid idea. I mean, you don't have the density of population necessary to support a massive project like this. So why would you start there?
Well, you would never get this passed without Central Valley voters. They needed voters in our conservative areas that believe that this was going to get done, and there was going to be some benefit to the valley as well. But if it was one more bond, if it was one more earmark for L.A. or for San Francisco, you wouldn't have got voters in some of those mountain areas or valley areas or farm areas that would have voted.
No, good. Now we can blame people in your part of the state then for passing this thing. Thanks for that.
Well, and I think that's why you're seeing the backlash right now. Whether it's farmers or Democrats and Republicans on city councils or board of supervisors, they feel lied to. I feel lied to. I think the voters now are upside down on this because they feel lied to. And so
they were.
I think there is a big backlash. We're offended.
All right. Congressman Jeff Denham, thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for what you're doing. Come in and sign up. We need the we need the signatures.
All right. That's Jeff Denham, Congressman out of Modesto, a Republican, and he's doing all he can in Washington, D.C. to